In this lesson, the first thing to clarify is the number of tones in Mandarin. Textbooks generally state that Mandarin has 4 tones, 4 basic tones. But in fact, Chinese people use 7 tones when speaking Mandarin. So, no wonder that the more you study, the more confused. Here are the 7 tones in Mandarin. These above are visual tone marks invented by ourselves. Ma, 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 ma. We call these symbols as Smart Tone Marks System, the STMS. With this system, when we learn Chinese tones, we can see with our eyes, not only just use our ears. Please note, the blue tone marks represent the 4 basic tones, while the red tones are variants. 85% of the information input to the human brain comes through the eyes, while only 10% through the ears. In other words, our smart tone marks can help you engage 8 times more of your brain's information processing capacity. It's a simple job. Imagine the STMs is your conductor while you learn to sing a very simple song with only 7 notes. What are tones? They are essentially the pitches of a syllable and the changes in those pitches. Each tone has a name: high flat, middle rising, falling rising, middle falling, high falling, low neutral, and high neutral. For convenience in communication, the 4 blue basic tones are commonly referred to as the first tone, second tone, third tone, and fourth tone. The high flat tone is, of course, high and flat. It's also called the first tone. Ma. The middle rising tone starts from the middle of your voice and rises, similar to how someone asks a question. What? Ma? This tone is also known as the second tone. The falling rising tone and the middle falling tone generally sound the lowest. The falling rising tone, also called the third tone, ma, first falls and then rises, something like you are saying, so. It's one of the 4 basic tones. The middle falling tone is a variant of the third tone. However, the middle falling tone is actually more common than the original third tone. Many people like to call the middle falling tone half third tone, meaning it's half of the third tone, only falls, but no rising. Together, they sound like ma, ma. The high falling tone drops from the highest position of your voice to the lowest. It sounds like you are saying, yeah, or no. The neutral tones, the low neutral tone and the high neutral tone, are very special. They must follow another syllable. In other words, you cannot hear a word that starts with a neutral tone, and you can easily distinguish a word with a neutral tone from the following word. The presence of a neutral tone indicates the end of a word. The pronunciation of the neutral tone depends entirely on the preceding syllable. It's a high neutral tone only when the preceding syllable is a middle falling tone. In other cases, it's always a low neutral tone. Actually, the vast majority of Chinese people are unaware, they don't know this knowledge about tones. They only know how. know how to speak. I will provide enough examples later to help you know how as well. I suggest that everyone use your finger while learning tones. How? So when you speak, you draw the high flat tone. Your finger should be at forehead height. Draw the high flat tone. The next three, the middle rising tone, falling rising tone, and middle falling tone, should start at nose height. The high falling tone should naturally be drawn from your forehead down to your chin. For the neutral tones, the low neutral, just tap your finger at your mouth and tap at your forehead, the high neutral tone. This method is TPR, the Total Physical Response Method. All native speakers rely on muscle memory for pronunciation. This is especially true for Mandarin tones. TPR is the best method for establishing muscle memory for Mandarin tones. Once you establish the correct muscle memory, you won't need to think about it. The syllable will come out naturally and correctly. Let's practice the 4 basic tones with a few examples using the TPR method. Each group of words here consists of 4 characters, arranged according to the sequence of the 4 basic tones. Each character is also a single syllable word. Sometimes we also call it monosyllable word. Note that the pinyin for yu is written according to the 可道 intuitive pinyin. The yu is written as you in dictionaries and textbooks. Please read along with me. Use the TPR method at the same time. 三人火大花茶米饭包门雨肉高楼冷面 Here is another set. In my experiences, I have found that as long as students practice reading a sentence that begins with 酸甜苦辣, they can become very familiar with all the 7 tones and even practice the retroflex final. This might be the simplest but most effective method. Note that the 我 way is written according to the 可道 intuitive pinyin as well, so the you is not omitted. 酸甜苦辣我们的 ours 味儿 taste. The red sound is a retroflex. 最 is a prefix, means the most. So 最好 means the best. This sentence really sounds like a declaration from a Chinese chef. 酸甜苦辣我们的味儿最好 Quickly recall the 4 key points we discussed. Then read along with me again. Practice all the single syllable words we learned today. 三人火大包门雨肉花茶米饭高楼冷面酸甜苦辣我们的味儿最好